And good morning to you. Two of the three county commissioners are with us this morning. Commissioner Sherene Hess, Commissioner Mike Baker, joining us in the studio. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Todd.
Morning.
And of course, the obvious question has to be, where's Rod Reddick?
Well, he is not playing hooky, I will tell you.
Okay, good.
Today, he left yesterday afternoon to go to Harrisburg. He is on a committee there for training of constables. And he is down there today taking care of business. And so he is not truant. Mm-hmm. We miss him, but hopefully he'll be able to drive back today after the rain subsides a little bit, I hope.
Yeah, it is supposed to clean up, but he's coming from the east.
Yes.
So it'll be a little bit longer before he gets into the nice stuff that is promised. Speaking of which, I noticed when the two of you came across the street, you came at separate times. Mike, you came across in pouring down rain. Wasn't raining for Sherene.
What can I say?
It happens to divas all the time. It doesn't happen to me.
I prefer divine intervention.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so what are we talking about today? What's going on in county issues? Because there obviously are always many of them.
Yeah, and let me just, I'm going to start off just by talking just for a minute or two about our parks. Mm-hmm. We have our parks meeting this morning, and the last time we spoke on the radio, I mentioned that we did some improvements down to the Buttermilk Falls park, and they are complete, and they received a very prestigious award for their design and construction and so on. And recently, after those improvements have been made, visits to that park have become so frequent that we've actually experienced some traffic and parking issues in that area at the park. So we received a number of concerns from property owners in the area that visitors were parking along the roadway and even in the grass in spite of signage that was there to prohibit it. Ed Patterson, who was our parks director, said that we've had about 15,000 visitors at Buttermilk Falls since April, and it's kind of overwhelmed that area. And so what he has done, what we have had to do, he's done with our blessing, is created about 40 or 50 new parking spaces down at the Buttermilk Falls area to accommodate that traffic. And I think that work is either complete or just about to be complete. But hopefully that's going to ease that traffic congestion in that area. It's one of those deals where you have to kind of be careful what you wish for. This is a case where we had so much success on that project that no one anticipated that this need would arise. So the cost of providing that parking area, by the way, is being provided by some special parks funding. It's not coming out of the general fund for the county, but it's an interesting problem that we didn't anticipate. So.
Well, yeah, and the really interesting thing about it to me is it was done sort of quietly, and there wasn't a bunch of publicity saying, hey, look what we've done at Buttermilk Falls. But that speaks about word of mouth and
social
Sherene,
media.
Yeah, Sherene, once something like that catches fire, man, oh man, it really does bring people in.
It speaks to how much people want to get out into nature. They want to see these beautiful things. They just love these kinds of things. So it's great. So if you build it, they will come. Maybe, I don't know. But
they will keep on coming.
Yes, yeah, and you have to deal with that. But it's in rural areas, these kinds of recreation-based things to do are really important to our tourism, to economic development, and to just quality of life in a rural county.
Indiana County's hidden treasures, I always call them, because people from Pittsburgh, the big cities and everything, and even beyond Pittsburgh to other big cities, somehow they learn that Indiana County is a really special place to come.
And we welcome them as long as they bring their dollars and eat at our restaurants and
there you go.
Buy the gas.
And don't park on our grass at Buttermilk Falls.
Yes, please.
Come along. Bring your wallet and don't park on the grass.
I will tell you this, that the way the weather is today, I would say that once the rain subsides, it ought to be a great day to go to Buttermilk Falls.
Yeah.
There'd be plenty of water coming over the falls today, and probably for the rest of the week, I would assume, with the way things look. So
going to be clearing up.
Yeah, Pennsylvania's a beautiful state.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so what else is going on?
Well, I want to talk just about another parks issue that just want to make people aware of it so that they're not kind of scared off by it. But another issue that we're undertaking right now is at our last meeting, we granted an easement to XTO Energy Corporation for a project that they want to do in the Ghost Town Trail area. There is a well that was drilled there, a Marcellus well that was vertically drilled some time ago, but was never fracked. And in order to provide for the fracking of that well now, because they're ready to do that. We've had to provide them an easement across the Ghost Town Trail. They're going to be pulling water out of Blacklick Creek to be used for the fracking of that well. But the important thing to know is that the trail is going to remain open at all times. It's not going to be disturbed by that work. And XTO is not only going to completely restore any areas of the trail that might become disturbed. We're not anticipating much of that. But they're also going to provide the Parks and Trails Department with a $5,000 stipend to one of their parks funds as a result of that. So just be aware that if you're going to the Ghost Town Trail over the next few months or so, you may see that work be beginning. So don't be scared off by it. By all means, come and use our trails.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Of course, that could also mean some increased vehicle traffic that people need to be aware of in
very
that
much
area
so.
too.
Yeah.
Okay,
So.
all right. Indiana County Commissioners Sherene Hess and Mike Baker with us here this morning. We're talking about issues with which the county is dealing, and this is easy for me to do. I just, when these segments come, I just say, okay, what's next? so okay, what's next?
Well, speaking of trails, our Blacklick Creek Watershed Association and many other watershed associations continue to do their good work on improving the watershed. Blacklick Creek just submitted a Growing Greener application for money to fix their passive treatment system, the Richards system, and also they're working on the improvements to the Wareham water treatment situation so that we can continue to clean up that creek so that it it continues to beautify the area and hopefully bring in tourists and lots of recreational users. So that's good. Evergreen Conservancy's working hard. They got Eco Tour. Health-related activities. Our WalkWorks program is having a kickoff in Salzburg on Thursday evening. You can read all about those kinds of things on the various websites. But all that to say is that Indiana County has lots of things to do. So if you're looking for outdoor activities, we've got them here.
Yeah, those quality of life things
Yes.
are very important because not only do people get out into the communities and into the countryside and see what we have, but it benefits them so much. And Indiana County has had some health problems related particularly to fitness.
Fitness.
And that's what WalkWorks is all about.
It is. It is. And, psychologically, exercise, we all know it. It's good for you psychologically. So mental health, physical health, all good.
Yeah.
Just get out there,
There you go.
as they
Recreation,
say.
we have it all here.
There you go.
Yes.
We definitely do. I just wanted to mention a couple of other things very quickly. Just maybe give a little bit more information on the fact that recently the county entered into a purchase program for a drone. And I've had a couple of calls of people saying, what in the world does the county need a drone for? And I know that this has been in the news a little bit, but I just wanted to say that our emergency management agency right now is training 5 personnel to become pilots and operators of that aircraft. And it is going to be used primarily for emergency situations. It will be equipped and capable of using high-definition cameras, forward-looking infrared cameras, air quality monitors, and other instruments to really safeguard our first responders and to provide some situational awareness on the ground for people who are involved in response to emergencies. If you remember, about a year ago or so, we had some pretty devastating flood issues and so on. It was really hard to know how to get emergency vehicles in and out of areas. An aircraft like this would help to provide us with information on what roadways might be washed out or otherwise closed or blocked by debris. The other thing is, with the air quality monitoring thing is really interesting because we can fly the drone into an area where there has been a spill or suspected air quality issues where we normally would have had to send first responders in specialized equipment and gear and suits and so on, which is extremely expensive. Through the use of that air quality monitor on that drone, we don't have to expose those folks to those potential hazards, and we don't incur the costs of replacing those very expensive suits.
It's interesting you say that because to tie those two things together, recall that last year during the flooding, a TV camera from one of the Pittsburgh TV stations in a helicopter overflew a site. It looked from their camera as if there was a massive train derailment. It turned out it wasn't that at all. A drone would be able to be controlled and get down there, and not only if it had been a train derailment, measure the air to find out if there were any contaminants.
Correct.
But it also would be able to tell you right away, oh, those aren't train cars at all. So,
It's interesting that you'll be able to drill down on that level of detail with that instrument. And the other thing is, even on another practical way that this vehicle will be used, right now when we need to inspect our radio towers all the way to the top, it involves bringing someone in to climb that tower and go up and make an inspection. Now with the use of the drone, we'll be able to fly to the top of that tower, take a good look at what's going on, and not have to put anybody in danger. So, a much reduced cost to the county.
find out where the roof's leaking at the courthouse.
For sure.
Yeah.
Not that it is. Not that it is. All right.
Right on.
Very good. Sherene, anything else that you'd like to pass along this morning?
Just want to say a little bit about voting equipment. The governor's directive to replace all voting machines, and anything that is being replaced after April of this year has to have the paper trail. Counties are working diligently on that. It's an important topic because of the timeline. The directive talks about implementing this in 2020, which, as we know, is a presidential election. We're concerned about that calendar, the timing. We're also concerned about procuring vendors. We want it to be value-based. We want them to be competitive. We need time to do that. So we're working on that. It's $125 million price tag to replace all voting equipment. Our equipment is fine in Indiana County, but even optical scan types of equipment have their vulnerabilities. So we continue to look at that and try to figure out ways to solve that problem.
You and I talked on the air a couple of months ago as well about the fact that even though Indiana County is a step ahead of most other counties, maybe 2 or 3 steps ahead, that equipment ages. Technology changes.
Technology, yes.
And Indiana County has to keep up.
Right.
We do.
We've been fortunate to be ahead of the curve so far, but we still have to evolve like everyone else has to.
Very
yes, in our registry of the statewide uniform registry of electors, the SURE, it's the state's voter registration system. They're going to do an audit of it. There's some concern about potential problems there. All around, we need to be vigilant about the safety and the security of our voting system. So counties are on the forefront of that.
Absolutely. Okay. So neither one of you wants to publicly announce today a big development at Windy Ridge, do you?
I would love to, and unfortunately I can't.
Yes.
Okay.
In negotiations.
I keep pushing, I figure if I don't ask it, you can't answer it.
That's the
All
only
we
way
can
it
say
happens.
is stay tuned.
Stay tuned. All right. Yeah, stay
Soon.
tuned right here, and we'll get it to you as soon as the information becomes available. Well, thank you both for braving the weather today to come across the street and visit with us here in Indiana in the morning.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Todd.
We appreciate it, and the best to Commissioner Rod Ruddick coming back across
Safe
the
travel.
state today. Yeah.
Yes.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, AM 1160 and 101.1 FM. We're headed toward the top.